We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session. It is Thursday evening, June 6th, 2024. As you know, I wanted to record later in the evening on Thursdays to give all of you an opportunity to get the butterflies out of your system when it comes to shaping your slides, putting them in such a way where not only your personalities will come through on the video clips, but also the storytelling ability in the slides, looking at takes that we don't see, feeling comfortable with the technology of Loom. I've heard from 5 of you. I have 4 speeches ready to go. The 5th person is still working with Loom. And for all of you who did not provide a demonstrative speech for me, please make certain that I get them over the weekend and I can include them at some point in Monday's instructor course video. But for all of your benefit, when we start class on Monday, there are at least 2 additional videos that I will memorialize into the record. We're at the student preview mode on Blackboard Ultra. You have in the course syllabus area, the syllabus itself, course itinerary, the course speech schedule, checklist, SAU speech critique, examining prior and after your recording sessions, content, delivery, visuals, self-analysis, self-awareness are very important in this class, as you're well aware. But I added something else. I have getting started video tutorials, 6 short video clips on learning the basics of Loom. When we are in Monday's class session, I will show you, as I mentioned a moment ago, the first 2 videos from this link into a class session. Here you have, at the Loom website, a 6-minute video on getting started with Loom. Underneath, a 4-minute video on recording your first video. You have data on editing a video, sharing it, understanding it, and spaces. For our benefit, though, realistically, the first 2 are going to be of the most assistance. So that's where we will be starting next week. There are people in this class that are recording off of their cell phone. We have one of those this evening. I also have one person who sent me a presentation on Canva. In both of those instances, because of formatting issues, I downloaded each of your completed presentations to my computer, uploaded them back to my Loom account so I could play them in real time and there would be uniformity in terms of the actual quality of what we see and what we hear. But let's go ahead back to the student preview mode and remind you what's going to be taking place next week. With the course itinerary, trying to visualize in advance, because all of you are going to be working on your speeches on the same time rotation, 1 week at a time. Next week, Monday, informative speech research. Tuesday, informative speech topic selection. Wednesday, more informative speech research, and then the informative speech itself, Thursday of next week. And then we get into persuasive. But informing, you're primarily serving as a teacher or lecturer. It's going to be somewhat of a serious delivery style. You can still have your personalities come through, like I've seen previewing all of the presentations that you're going to be watching in a couple of minutes. But that's what's going to be going on next week with the course itinerary, which is informative speech preparation. So just take a look at all of these as you get a chance, including, and I'll put this up one more time, the SAU speech critique, thinking about in real time how for content, these 8 areas, delivery, these 8 areas, and the 8 areas for visuals, are you in your own minds improving week by week? Because once we get to the end of June, 10 points of the course will be determined by your self-evaluation speech critique, an honest evaluation, self-awareness, self-analysis of what you've done. So without any further ado, let's get to our first demonstrative speech of the evening. I will put this on the screen for you. When you send me something in Loom, this is what I see. An AI-generated transcript on the right-hand side. As I scroll to the right, now you can see that Emma is going to be our first speaker. And when we talk about how to make DIY slime, once she begins her presentation, I'm going to go full screen, which will take out my webcam. Her presentation is 8 minutes in length. We'll break it down, as we will with the others in this class for this evening and also Monday of next week, to see whether or not she has been a good storyteller, looking at everything that she's done, setting up her slides, setting up her webcam, and you can tell pretty easily how well someone is going to be in this class by the amount of preparation for their slides, for the way in which they set up their webcam. In this case, she's on the bottom right-hand side, whatever works best for you. Our first demonstrative speech of the first summer session of 2024. This is Emma discussing how to make DIY slime. Here it is.
Hi, my name is Emma Johnson, and today I'm going to show you how to make DIY slime at home. So the first things you'll need is you'll need glue. You'll need just some type of like school glue. I highly recommend using Elmer's glue. It is typically used when making slime at home. You can use clear glue, but I recommend using just regular glue because it's cheaper, but they both work the same, whatever you would like to use. The next things you're going to need is you're going to need a bowl of some sorts and a spoon. These are optional. A lot of people like to just mix it with their fingers or just use whatever. I'm using a bowl and a spoon today to try and prevent making any messes, and that's why I suggest using them, but it's totally optional. The next thing you're going to need is some sort of shaving cream. You can use gel shaving cream, but I like to use just regular shaving cream. It's totally up to you. Shaving cream is technically optional in making slime. It makes it fluffier and it makes it more soft. So I like to use it, and that's why I'm going to be using it in this demonstration. The next thing you're going to need is some sort of activator. Now, you have a few options when picking an activator for your slime. You can use borax, which is the most popular, but it's very toxic, so you want to be very careful when using borax. I would not recommend it. I don't like to use borax just because it can be dangerous and you need to be really cautious when using it. The next thing you can use, which is what we're going to be using today, is contact solution. I have my contact solution. You can use any type of contact solution. You can buy it at the store. The next thing you can use is laundry detergent, which I use that as well sometimes. Now, it does add a sort of color to your slime if you're using a colored detergent like Tide or any of the other colored detergents, but detergent does work very well. And then the next thing you're going to need is some sort of food coloring. This is also optional. It's just up to you if you want to add some color to your slime. Today, I'm going to be using neon pink food coloring for my slime. So a little bit of background is in 1976, two scientists mixed guar gum and sodium borate to create the first version of what we know as slime. Slime became really popular with younger kids and young teens, and the reason we can make slime at home today is because Elmer's glue contains polyvinyl alcohol, and that was used back then to make slime, but now it's obviously a lot more accessible in just your regular Elmer's glue. Slime really took off to become a trend during the years of 2016 and 2017. I remember that in middle school. I was in middle school. A lot of people would make slime at home. They would, trade it at school. They would, it was a really big trend, and I used to make slime a lot when I was a little kid, and it's still a trend today, but that's when it all originally started. So let's make some slime. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to pour a regular sized bottle of Elmer's glue into your bowl. Now this may take a second because we want to get as much glue as we can because it's our base. So let's try to get all of that out. We're about there. Okay. So continuing with step 1, we're going to take our food coloring and just put a couple drops in there and be very careful with it. We're just going to put like 1, 2, maybe like 3 drops. And then step 2 is we're going to add our shaving cream. Now when you add the shaving cream, it's really just eyeballed. I really don't measure it. It's just kind of up to you. Like the smoother you want it to be, the more you add. And you just add some of that into the bowl. You can just add as much as you want, and then you're gonna stir it all up. It's gonna look a little interesting at first. Like, this is what we have going on right now. The color's not mixed in yet, so that's why it's... If it's not colored enough to how you like it, you can add more. You can mix colors. It's totally up to you. I might add a little bit more pink just so I have a little bit more color to work with here. Let's add a little bit more pink just so the color pops out a little bit more. And we're just going to make sure everything is completely mixed up and stirred in, because our next step is going to be adding our activator, and that is the most important step. Okay, so now that we've gotten everything is completely mixed up, this is what it kind of looks like. It's nice and very like soft and creamy. Okay. So now we are going to add our activator. This is also just eyeballed. There's not a certain amount that you need. It's just kind of based off of how much slime you're making. But you're just gonna pour it in and then kind of stir it together, and your slime will kind of start to form. I really like to just add it as I go. See, it's already starting to kind of take a little bit of form. I'm gonna add some more. You just kind of squeeze it in there. And there you go. It's still a little bit sticky, but we're gonna add some more. You are definitely going to have to mix it up for a few minutes and kind of just knead it with your hands. And you need to keep adding activator as you go so it doesn't keep getting sticky. Mine's still a little sticky, but this is the final product. Is this pink slime. So why make slime at home? It can be a very fun and relaxing activity. It definitely teaches you a little bit of science, mixing everything all together. And it actually improves motor skills in little kids and young teens. and it can definitely be a really nice bonding activity for friends and family. And overall, it can just be really fun to do.
I want you to notice something that I do for virtually everyone in this class. Mute the audio, start to play it again, and put on closed captioning. Emma, one friendly piece of constructive criticism. I had mentioned this earlier in the week on one of my instructor course videos. Make certain that you double check the webcam so we're not seeing a mirror image. That's what I was experimenting with when I first got my Loom account, because in your case, as you can see from the webcam, the lettering is backwards. All you have to do is to go into your presets for your camera on Loom, turn it around. It's got no bearing on your grade here, so don't worry about it. But we're just going to play some of this really nice storytelling structure in terms of the text image balance. Because if you're going to be an extemporaneous speaker, and here you can see the lettering on Barbasol is backwards, the mirror image that I was referring to a moment ago, the thoughtful nature that everyone puts their slides together, how can you remain extemporaneous with the consistency of design that I mentioned on the SAU speech critique checklist, with headlines that are going to match in terms of font style and color? Anything that you see here with the detergent, the colors, the 20 Mule Team Borax, the bio product, all of this, the activator, the food coloring, she's not going to mention all of this on the slide. So much information right here that she can use in the moment to remain extemporaneous while demonstrating the process, which is what she does. So let's now move to the last roughly 2 minutes of her presentation, continuing to play it in real time. Let's make slime. Notice she has her timer on the far left-hand side, her webcam bottom right. Bottom right is not a bad strategy for graded presentations in this class, because when you're writing in English, we go from left to right. Oftentimes, upper right, lower right will be the best places to consider your webcam, even though, as you know, on Loom, your default position is bottom left. Shaving cream step 2, activator step 3. As she's making this, putting in the food coloring, it looks more and more almost like chewing gum. But I'm old enough to remember slime in those garbage cans. And those are the types of products that stand the test of time in terms of popularity. Occasionally, the closed captioning is not coming up on the screen because she's demonstrating the process and not talking all of the way through, which is fine. She's now in her last 45 seconds. So let's take off the closed captioning and listen to it one more time.
It's still a little sticky, but this is the final product. Is this pink slime. So why make slime at home? It can be a very fun and relaxing activity. It definitely teaches you a little bit of science, mixing everything all together. And it actually improves motor skills in little kids and young teens. And it can definitely be a really nice bonding activity for friends and family. And overall, it can just be really fun to do.
Now, what I would do, as you see me back on the screen, Emma, what I would do is to put a little bit of air at the end of your presentation. Go ahead and say thank you officially. Pause like I do at the end of all of our recording sessions. 1001, 1002, 1003, and then paused. These are small things that won't have any bearing on your grade. Like I said, just with turning the webcam around so it's not in a mirror image. But you did a really good job in terms of putting all of the elements together to demonstrate a process and then just putting it right in the screen, right in the webcam itself. So one more time, we will mute it and play it this way. Look in the upper right-hand portion of the screen where you have, with my Loom subscription, I pay an extra $5 a month. In case any of you are interested, by the way, guys, a Loom subscription is $15 a month for videos of unlimited length, and for an additional $5 a month directly above my webcam, you get, for that extra $5, artificial intelligence generated transcripts, and they're pretty accurate. So even though her audio is down, you can see that she's speaking in a complete sentence structure. There are a couple of presentations, the one that was sent to me on a cell phone and the other one that is on Canva. You're not going to see the transcript, but that's okay. The second speaker is also that way, where you can see the transcript before I go full screen. But Emma, you got us off to a very positive start. Nice job. I had told you before, I very much am into positive constructive criticism. If I see something that needs correction, in Emma's case, you do hear a couple of uhs and ums. It's not necessarily terrible in terms of a grade. It's something to be aware of, because all of you in all of your presentations will probably do really good things in some areas and then need a friendly piece of advice somewhere else. I'm very much a glass half full person. When it comes to how to make DIY slime, we got off, Emma, to a good start. Thank you. This is our second presenter for demonstrative speeches. And this one came in just as I was about to start recording this evening. So I decided to go ahead and put this one second on the list. It is an introduction to make handmade felties. And as you can see, Mary Lynn's name is at the top of the screen for the transcript. Before I go full screen, I always double check a couple of things when we're recording in real time. And remember, during the pandemic, I was using Blackboard video and Blackboard Collaborate video to record. I'm not a big user of Zoom. There are other technologies that Southern Arkansas University has for recording audio and video, and I'm not crazy about those either. I would rather pay to have quality for something that I really want. And I'll go ahead and put handmade felties on the screen. Like I said, I'm getting used to the technology, but I want you to see what I am seeing whenever I click on the screen. As I'd indicated before we switched over from Emma, you can see that this is her speech on handmade felties, the transcript because she recorded in Loom, and something else that I had mentioned, making sure that it's not in mute. Closed captioning is off, because once we start for the graded presentations, I go full screen. I will experiment as time goes on whether or not I stay in the bottom right-hand corner. Like I said, with Blackboard video, Blackboard Collaborate video during the pandemic, I felt very comfortable with that technology. And like you, I am learning this in real time. That's why I'm not going to get irritated by someone not necessarily having something done today, but I do need it by Monday. If you're still having an issue, please send a message to my Southern Arkansas University email. Our second demonstrative speech is on an introduction to handmade felties. Here it is.
Hi, my name is Mariela Knuckles, and this is my speech for the first week of Introduction to Public Speaking in the first summer session. I will be presenting to you all how to make a handmade felty. So what is a felty? A felty is typically a small decorative object. It can also be a stuffed animal, it can be a keychain, a magnet, a hairpiece, ornament, a hair clip. It can be various items, and it's used with felt and maybe embroidered, and it can be hand sewn or it can be sewn using a sewing machine. This is an example of a felty that was created and sewn onto a hair tie. So the materials and necessities that are needed for this project would be felt sheets, sewing needles, a pin cushion, stuffing, Sharpies or fabric markers, fabric scissors, regular scissors, thread, and a felt pattern. Now, for you to have a felt pattern, you're probably going to need internet access and a printer. Here are some of my materials that I use because I decided to create a felty for this project as well. This is the template that I have, and the scissors. I decided to go with gray, white, and black felt for my project. Here are some of the sewing needles, and here's the stuffing. So, are you new to sewing? If you're new to sewing, especially sewing felt, you're going to need to know the basics. Here are some of the methods. With this would be a whip stitch, a blanket stitch, and a running stitch. Those are the most common felt stitches that are used. I have included an image here for everyone to view, and it includes 9 embroidery stitches for beginners. In this has the running stitch, a split stitch, a back stitch, whip stitch, blanket stitch, fly stitch, and so on. Whenever you're creating a felty, this is the process. For step 1, you're going to want to gather your materials, and this would be printing off your pattern, selecting your decided felt colors and pieces of thread that you want. You're going to need to make sure to get everything set up and ready to go so that you have everything prepped for step 2. Step 2 would be prepping your felt with a pattern. Cut out your pattern, and you're going to want to trace each section using a Sharpie or a fabric marker. You're going to trace directly onto the felt and make sure to get it as close to the pattern that you've cut out as possible, as to avoid any unnecessary errors. For step 3, the thread in the needle. That is very important. You're going to want to cut your traced felt pieces out of the felt sheets and thread your sewing needle with the chosen color of thread that you're using for that particular part. Step 4, you're going to sew the details on first. So on the front facing part of your item, you're going to begin to sew any flat details to the front of the face of the body. For example, on my felty that I made, the eyes here, 2 little white dots were created first, and then the black pupils, his stomach, and then I sewed on the threading for part of his stomach. This is actually a character from a movie that I like called My Neighbor Totoro, and his name is Totoro. Step 5 would be lining up the pieces of felt. You want to line up your felt front-facing piece to your back-facing piece and make sure that they're as even and equal as possible. They don't have to be perfect, but you definitely need them to try and match. You can check for errors, and you can trim around the edges with some scissors, and it will be a very easy process. Moving on to step 6, you're going to sew the front and the back together. For my personal preference, I tend to sew from the bottom up, but that has to do with the stuffing process that I like. You're going to want to make sure that you start sewing around the edges of your felt so that the felty looks nice and cohesive. For step 7, you're going to start stuffing your felty. You're going to stuff it as you're sewing, so take breaks in between sewing parts and begin to stuff it. You're going to want to make sure that it is secure enough that the stuffing will not fall out while you're sewing it. And always leave an opening in case you have smaller parts, like his ears, for example, to stuff them as well if you wish. For step 8, you're going to want to sew the felty shut, and this would be sewing up the final part of your piece and making sure to tie off the thread so you can secure it properly. This is a video that I did of whenever I was creating him, and I sewed up the top. I left some open so that I could stuff him well. For my final product, here he is. He is looking nice and snazzy, and he sits up well. He's about the size of my hand. He's quite small, and I think he is wonderful. Thank you for watching. These are some other examples of felties that I've made in the past. On the right, we have a snowy owl, which is meant to represent Hedwig from Harry Potter. I'm a big fan. It took multiple thread colors and multiple colors of felt. And on the other side, on the left, we have a manatee, which is my favorite animal, and I just used gray for that project and used black felt for the eyes. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Nice job so far with our first two students. If you're ever involved in a presentation that is a process similar to what you just saw with Felties, having that final product on the screen right at the end gives you immediate credibility as a speaker. So not only are you talking about making slime, but we see the final product as we had with our first speaker. And then in this case with Felties, it's the same thing. Watch what I do, and you should be doing this as well. And because this is on my YouTube channel, those of you who are not in my class, you might consider this later on. Mute the audio, put the closed captioning on, and then just watch your presentations from the beginning. In Marilyn's case, even though I don't think the artificial intelligence generated transcript has the spelling of her name correct, are you speaking in complete sentences? Look at the right-hand side. You're actually getting this in stereo. I'm doing this a little bit different than what we had for the first speech, just for the sake of experimentation. Let's go ahead and make it full screen. The silence is intentional. For all of you, watching yourself with the audio muted, looking at the process, looking at your eye contact, examining the slide construction. So far, both of the ladies have done a nice job with the design consistency of everything that they've done. Font style, font color, most of the time in bullet points or in brief sentences with visuals, as you see here, and she incorporates video playing it in real time. But all of the items on the left-hand side are so helpful. As I had indicated with our first speaker, you're not going to mention every last bullet point, but it gives you the option in terms of time management to talk about any of those visuals, any of these items that are bullet points, anything that's going to be coming up. For this case, if you're new to sewing felt, the methods with the 3 bullet points, the 9 embroidery stitches for beginners on the right. So we've watched the first 2 minutes of each of our first 2 demonstrative speakers with the audio down. Now let's go to the final 2 minutes.
This is the process. For step 1, you're going to want to gather your
time.
Stuff them as well if you wish. For step 8, you're going to want to sew the felties shut, and this would be sewing up the final part of your piece and making sure to tie off the thread so you can secure it properly. This is a video that I did of whenever I was creating him, and I sewed up the top. I left some open so that I could stuff him well.
because what she is doing with that particular video really helps us visualize the process as well as the final product. Very well done.
He's quite small, and I think he is wonderful. Thank you for watching. These are some other examples of felties that I've made in the past. On the right, we have a snowy owl, which is meant to represent Hedwig from Harry Potter. I'm a big fan. It took multiple thread colors and multiple colors of felt. And on the other side, on the left, we have a manatee, which is my favorite animal. And I just used gray for that project and used black felt for the eyes. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
In this case, I'm going to leave it right there before she officially wraps things up for this reason. I told you earlier that at the end of the first summer session, in all of my basic and advanced public speaking courses, there is a self-evaluation speech critique. It is so much different recording, preparing, analyzing a graded speech in an online course as opposed to doing it in face-to-face. You're communicating with an audience that you don't know. How can your natural personality come out? It is not unusual for all of us to have performance anxiety in a basic public speaking course. We all get it. How can you overcome that anxiety or that nervousness? You just practice. You watch the videos that we don't see. You continue to plug away and think about, for, in this case, the thank you slide. What can I do for the presentation, for the Felty, that is going to really reinforce what I think is important, giving me source credibility by showing final products that I put together? The look on her face says it all. I got through it. I'm happy. Now that we come back to me on the webcam, and I'm glad because both of you ladies so far have done a nice job. This is not easy, which is why I wanted to be on the webcam to say it. This is not easy, and I understand that, but you're only going to get better to inform, to persuade, to end the term with the wild card. All of the recordings, all of the slides that you're putting together, it's just going to be much more organic as the weeks go on. And as I had indicated, one of the things that I think I provide in my courses, and I'm a media person, which is why I come across somewhat as a television director here. My background is in mass communication, mass media, broadcasting, public speaking, intercollegiate debate, and individual events. So I feel very comfortable on camera, but I still get nervous. Like I said a moment ago, and I'm reinforcing it, this is not easy. So even if I hear vocalics or a drop G, or maybe something when you watch the presentation, you cringe, but your classmates and I look at it and think it's pretty good. So stick with me. All of you will be fine. And as you saw with the handmade Felty speech and starting off with making the DIY slime, both of you ladies got us off to a very good start. Nice job. Let me do a little bit more here by just going anywhere in the speech. Look above my head with the transcript and just playing your speech. Notice that when we get to another area of the speech, that it is going to move down and the highlighted area will change. It should change right now, just like that. That's where you can tell whether it's there or here, whether it's Microsoft SharePoint or Loom or YouTube. That's where you can tell if someone is speaking in a complete sentence structure. And the reason that I mentioned my media background is that obviously when it comes to video, when it comes to producing video now in an analog era with TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat, you're looking over videos all the time. You need to break down your own videos like I'm doing here. sound down, closed captioning up, slides? Does everything come together? If you're doing it properly, hopefully you can earn high grades in my course. Now, let's go ahead and pause. We will move to our third speaker of the evening. This is from Canva, and it was uploaded to my account on Loom. This is how to make a Kool-Aid pie. One of the items that all of us need to be aware of in the syllabus is time management. You get a little bit of slack from me this week because you've got so many things going on. You might not realize, am I a little bit over time, which as I indicated earlier this week is fine. You're not going to be penalized this week for not making the minimum time limit of 4 minutes, but it's something to be aware of. All of you have cell phones. If you're not recording using Loom with a timer available on the screen, always have your cell phone around with your timer and make certain that you're around 4 to 5 minutes. Because in my case, now that I feel more comfortable using this technology, we're going beyond 30 minutes. And I want to make certain that everything that you do here is chronicled in real time. It's very important that all of you learn in a class like this, but we're doing well so far. This is Kadia. It is how to make a Kool-Aid pie. And as I have done so far, when she starts to talk, I'll make it full screen. Here it is.
Hi, my name is Kadia Curry, and I did my demonstration speech on how to make a Kool-Aid pie. It's very simple. You would not need to bake or anything. You just mix and stir. You using simple ingredients. We cook this like during Thanksgiving, um, Christmas, any type of celebration. You can make this. Okay, so first you need to gather your ingredients. You need all your ingredients. The ingredients you need is 8 ounces of Cool Whip, just a little container that it come in. 1 pack of Kool-Aid, any flavor your choice. My favorite is the lemonade. It's very good. The pink lemonade. You need 1 can of condensed milk, 1 graham cracker pie crust in a mixing bowl. You also need something to mix with. You need to gather, step one, gather all your ingredients. Make sure you have everything you need. You don't want to miss out anything. Step two, pour all the Cool Whip in the bowl. Make sure you get it all. Make sure you scrape, get it all out. Step three, pour the whole can of condensed milk in the bowl with the Cool Whip. You just mixing everything together. Step four, pour the flavor Kool-Aid of your choice in the bowl with the other ingredients. Step 5. Get a spoon and mix till there are no more white. Mix, it should turn into a cover. Make sure it's all cold. And here goes a little video. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna play or not. But yeah, it's a video of how, make sure how it looks. So this is the video of me mixing. And the other is a picture of how it should look after you done mixing. Okay, step 6. You will need to get the bowl and pour all the mix into the graham cracker crust. To make sure you flatten it out so it will be even. Then step 7. You will put it in the refrigerator for 10 to 15 minutes to let it cool. So then after that, in step 8, you will get it out the fridge and you will enjoy it. Thank you for watching. Hope you try it one day.
It's very clever what she did at the end, where, and it's really unfair to the rest of us, where she actually takes a taste. It's ironic that the color of her final product and the color of the slime is basically the same. Watch what I do, and you should do the same thing as I'd indicated with our first two participants this evening. Mute your audio when you're evaluating yourself. I don't think I can do closed captioning with hers because this was sent to me on Canva. I don't see a closed captioning option. So we'll just watch it in real time. Her presence on camera is likable. She obviously has prepared quite a lot. Kadia, the one thing that you'll want to do, though, as you progress, is to stretch out your slides a little bit more to get to a minimum of 4 minutes. Tell us personal stories about making a Kool-Aid pie or some of the ingredients. For instance, in this case. Now, again, none of this has any bearing on your grade. We'll just play this in real time. Remember our first speaker, what Emma did, she moved her webcam over to the right-hand side. So that's something, in your case, you don't have to change your slides, but you might want to consider moving your webcam over here so it's not getting in the way of the ingredients. Now it looks fine. The only thing I would do here is to double check, and this is where the experience comes in working with slides. Let me go back for just a moment. There's the ingredients. We'll pause. If you want to leave your webcam here, you can take all of this material and just center it. Now your second slide, you have everything centered, so it's okay with your webcam location. I would take this font, all of this right here, and make it a little bit smaller, or just move the ingredients up so all of the text and the headline is in the gray area of the slide and it's not bleeding down into the visual, because that's a little bit hard to see. Again, early on, has no bearing on your grade. You'll feel more comfortable with that as time goes on. Now here's step 4, and that looks pretty good. This is where she brings in a video clip. Let's bring up her audio and she can talk about it. We'll play this in real time to the end.
Cool Whip. You just mixing everything together. Step 4. Pour the flavor Kool-Aid of your choice in the bowl with the other ingredients. Step 5. Get a spoon and mix till there are no more white. Mix. It should turn into a cover.
I really like what she's doing here with playing the video and inserting it into the speech. That helps so much when you're demonstrating a process.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna play or not, but yeah, it's a video of how make sure how it looks. Look, this is the video of me mixing, and the other is a picture of how it should look after you done mixing.
I do think that, let me pause right here for a moment. This is where, when you have all of the slides done to your satisfaction, you do not want text bleeding over onto a photo. So you take step 6, you take all of that data and just bring it over out of the way. You can make it a slightly smaller font, but just move it over. Not a problem whatsoever. Here's the end of her speech.
Cracker crust to make sure you flatten it out so it will be even. Then you, step 7, you will put it in refrigerator for 10 to 15 minutes to let it cool. So then after that, in step 8, you will get it out the fridge and you will enjoy it.
Watch closely.
Thank you for watching. Hope you try it one day. Hi, my name is Kadaya Kerr.
Because this is at the bottom of the screen, sometimes it's challenging for me with a full screen to pause this in real time. But there she is taking a bite on Enjoy. I can't tell whether or not her camera is in reverse image or not. I can't really see the lettering behind her. But for all of you, double check your webcams. Like I was mentioning with our first speaker, double check your webcams to make certain that you're not getting a reverse image. Many of you who have practiced with your cell phones taking photos, it's something that you just get into the habit of doing.
Thank you for watching. Hope you try it one day.
Now I'm going to put myself back up on the screen. There's no transcript because it was not recorded in Loom. If I wanted to play around with some of the formatting, I could probably tweak it, but that's why most of the time you're going to have a format where we can check out your complete sentence structure. But she did a nice job of speaking in complete sentences, which brings us to our fourth and final presenter of the evening. Like I said, there is a fifth person that was in contact with me before class, and they're still practicing with Loom. A couple of you have not been in contact with me today. Please make certain that you get me your materials over the weekend or send me a message. I had one speech that was sent to Blackboard. Don't send anything to Blackboard Ultra. Send all of your links to my SAU email address. It takes a couple of extra steps, and I would prefer that not be the case. That's why you need to watch every last minute of every last video. Our fourth and final presenter. This is a presentation that looks like it was recorded on a webcam, and I'll show it to you now. I'm not certain what the lighting situation is, and I don't know when all of you have access to PowerPoint from Microsoft or Google Slides or Canva, but I'll let you do it this way this week. The obvious thing that's going to be an issue is time management, because you need to make certain that you get as close to 4 minutes as possible. I'll make this full screen in a moment. This did come through with a transcript because, like I said, I uploaded this just like what you saw with the Kool-Aid Pie speech. I uploaded these to Loom. That's why you see the Loom logo here, like you did with our previous speaker. So this is a dance-related speech. We'll go ahead and play it, analyze it. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Shandron Torrance. I'm 18 years old and I plan to be attending Southern Arkansas University in the fall of 2024. When they dance, they may feel excited, energized, sore, tired, or even insulated. But the list goes on, and there's nothing that beats the feeling. My speech will be about choreography, dancing, and visual effects. Some dancers may dance for physical fitness. Some dancers may dance just to do it. But some live by it, like me. Some wake up, breathe, dance, go to sleep, dance. Everything, I'm talking about, whole world revolves around dance. So, people dance to promote self-confidence, promote self-esteem, personal expressions, flexibility, and to help ease the body and the mind. Children and adults can learn how to dance and acquire the skill, but however, achieving world-class status may acquire something beyond skill. Sometimes when dancers dance, dancers may feel happy, excited, energized, sore, or even insulated. But the list goes on, and there's nothing. Dancing can be a way to stay fit for a lot of people. Dancing can improve muscle tones, strength, endurance, fitness, and dancing is a great way to meet new friends. Important skills that dancers may obtain or have are incredible balance, physical strength, and here in Magnolia, Arkansas, I have been a part of 2 community dance teams. And both of those community dance teams, I have learned so many valuable things and valuable lessons. It's not only a gift or a sport, it is love.
So let's do the same thing with our final speaker as we have with everyone else. Mute the audio, click on closed captioning. I don't know, as I'd indicated, what your situation is with your webcam, with your slides, but for the informative, the persuasive, and the wild card, I need to have your face in a webcam with slides. I'll let you do it straight to the camera this week, but I've got to have slides. That's part of the requirements for the course. I appreciate your enthusiasm for the topic, but we need visuals to accompany this. Your enthusiasm about dance, your personality, obviously, is coming through here. And because the presentation, as you can see, was under 2 minutes, I can just play the whole thing in real time. Always have a timer or a stopwatch from your cell phone available. It also looks like you're editing the speech in real time, and when you're doing something in this class, you need to go from beginning to end unless there's some kind of an issue with graphics or there's some kind of an issue with your connectivity. But in this case, we need to see visuals that are associated with this, whether it's your experience, your friends, things that inspire you, but it has to be more than just straight to a camera. We were doing it this way in the early days of the pandemic because my night class had to adjust from being face-to-face to online in real time. If we go back to the beginning and play it again with the audio down, it just so happens here, he is speaking in complete sentences, which is nice. The issue is I want more of it. I need a presentation that is twice this long with visuals. It's not going to affect your grade all that much this week, even though having some type of slideshow is important and it is required. But you've got to follow what is available on the syllabus. There's a lot of potential here. Let's go to the presentation in progress and listen to him.
Around dance. So, people dance to promote self-confidence, promote self-esteem, personal expressions, flexibility, and to help ease the body and the mind. Children and adults can learn how to dance and acquire the skill, but however, achieving world-class status may acquire something beyond skill and practice. When dancers
And you can see that for the most part, he and everyone else for demonstrative speeches this week are speaking in complete sentences. There are always things on which we can improve. And with that, let's return to the student preview area of Blackboard. I'm going to tweak it before I put it on the screen, and I did scratch my cheek on camera. At the top, it will change to week 3, probably over the weekend. But just a reminder that the instructor resources, the instructor information, the course overview with my video is right there if you want to watch it. The communication and interactive policy, the minimum required technology and skills, the self-introduction discussion, the module overview, the university resources in case you're having some technology issues, and it's quite detailed here. Then the instructor information, including a link to my website, my YouTube channel, my business card, where we started the evening, the syllabus itself, the course itinerary, the course speech schedule, the speech critique, and then the getting started tutorials on Loom. So let me go back to the speech schedule for just a moment. Next week, we will also be presenting our informative speeches on Thursday. You will always have exactly 1 week to prepare, getting in that regular rhythm of a major presentation a week. But I will start off class on Monday with 2 of those videos right at the top of the Loom website, just in case you have any connection issues and you can't watch them as clearly as you would like, either on your phone or from your personal computer. But Curry, Davis, Johnson, Knuckles, Rutherford, Thompson, Torrance, all of your informative speeches will be due on Thursday of next week. And it's evening as I'm recording. So I'll probably always record these in the evening. So you just get into the habit. Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, early in the evening, you send me the video link, and you're just going to get better as time goes on. I didn't show the bottom part to you earlier in the week, but I'll put that there for your benefit. All speech videos or links to videos must be submitted to my SAU email address, which is jereppert@saumag.edu, highlighted no later than each Thursday at 5:30. I actually started recording a little bit later than 6 p.m., which is why one of you sent me a video a little bit later, and I could incorporate it this evening into tonight's live session. That's why I don't believe in editing videos. I like to do material in real time. It's the media person in me. Not everything's going to be perfect. You can't rewind the tape in life. Making a mistake here and there is not that big a deal, because if 99% of it, like all of your videos in this course, are pretty much the way you want, audiences are quite forgiving. We know how much time and effort that all of you are going to put into these presentations. I told you this evening that some of you might look at a moment on your webcam or on your slides and cringe, but if most of it's pretty decent and you're happy about it, you'll be fine. Keep me appraised regularly so I may assist you during your speech preparation processes. Thanks. When you are at this location, you will eventually be able to access your grades. Now that's what the grade book looks like in the student preview mode of Blackboard Ultra. It's a little bit different for those of you who are sophomores, juniors, or seniors. Remember, Blackboard Ultra, gang, is a new technology. We're breaking it in during the summer. And if you stay at SAU during the fall semester, all of your courses will look different than the traditional Blackboard. So your grade books will look different too. The demonstrative speech, informative, persuasive, wild card are a maximum of 20 points. The self-evaluation speech critique 10, class participation 10. Probably a good idea that I took my webcam and went to the right-hand side because it's not obscuring anything. But everything adds up to 100 points. The announcement section will be updated over the weekend. So instead of it saying week 2, it will be week 3, but pretty much the same when it comes to informative speaking. I'll go back to where we started. In content, come down to the syllabus. This is where we're going to begin Monday with 2 of the Getting Started tutorials on Loom. Repetition is a big part of learning and education. That's why I will mention materials on 2 or 3 occasions, because I can't assume everyone's watching every last minute of every last video. In your case, in this class, watch your presentations in their entirety. Look at my constructive criticism, which I always try to couch in a positive way. Then look at what I'm saying about your classmates. Then go back and watch your informative speeches for next week, the recording sessions. Watch what I say on Monday, because as we continue, my instructor course videos are going to become longer, not only because I feel more comfortable with the technology, as you are in this class, week by week with each graded speech, but I want to show you for posterity, not prosperity. And yes, you can make fun of yourself in an online course like this. Self-deprecating humor is always a plus. But I want to show you more instances of successful, informative speeches from the past 3.5 years. Over my academic career, which is decades, going back to my early academic career, always teaching the basic public speaking course, I was doing the same thing in an analog era that we now do in a digital era. I would record all of our graded speeches on videotape, and I have most of them in my archives at home. Some of them have been uploaded to my YouTube channel, but I save everything. I am an analog and a digital pack rat in a good way. So having all of this data at your disposal in this course is really important. Save all of those videos that we never see. That's how you learn. We're off to a very positive start this evening with our demonstrative speeches. Are there things to work on? Yes. In content, in delivery, in visuals, with time management, with graphics, with webcams. But the more that you do this, the better off you will be. Whether it's vocalics, whether it's drop G's, whether it's spelling on a slide, whether it's a reverse image on a webcam, whether you need to add visuals from a platform of your choice, stick with it, you'll be fine. And for those of you who still need to give me your outlines, please make certain that I get them by Monday so I can incorporate them into the Monday class session. We will continue on Monday with informative speech, part 1, which is going to be research. Good luck, and that concludes the recording session for this evening. Have a nice, long 3-day weekend. We will resume on Monday.